Welcome to Some Majesty Easy World Science channel. Again, I am Lieutenant Azukeke Charles, and I'm going to solve 2023 WAEC General Mathematics Objective Test questions. Okay, if there's any question, please indicate in the comments. So, the first question: evaluate correct to 3 decimal places. 4.314 times 0.00056 times 0. Divided by 0.0067. So first of all, we're going to multiply the 1 on top. That's 4.314 times 0.000056. So let's just solve that. That'll give us 0.00242. So we're meant to divide it by 0.0067. So I need to divide our answer by 0.0067. So I think this is 3 zeros. Now give us 0.03611. So our correct answer is B. That's B. So the next question is, there are 30 students. Number 2, there are 30 students in a class. 15 study woodwork and 13 study metalwork. 6 study neither of the 2 subjects. How many students study woodwork but not metalwork? So this question is a question based on sets. So I'm going to draw the Venn diagram. So there are 30 students in class, so the universal set is equal to 30. And we're given 2 sectors here. That's those that study woodwork and those that study metalwork. So let us call this capital letter M metalwork and W woodwork. Then it was written that 6 studying neither of them. So let's take that those that study both woodwork and metalwork as X. Then the total that study woodwork is 15. So those that study woodwork only will be given as 15 minus X. Then those that study metalwork only will be given as 13 minus. So we're going to add everything together because total was given as 13. So it will be 15 minus X plus 13 minus X plus 6 is equal to 13. So I'm going to do the addition. 15 plus 13, that'll give us 28. 28 plus 6, that'll give us 34. Then minus x plus x will give us 0. This will mean minus x here is equal to 13. So x minus x is equal to 30 minus 34. Minus x is equal to minus 4. So dividing both sides by minus 1, the coefficient of x, our x is equal to 4. So they said how many study woodwork but not metalwork. So we're going to deal in this part here. So for us to find that amount, to be 15 minus 4. That'll give us 11. So 11 students study woodwork but not metalwork. So our correct answer to this question is C. So number 3, it said solve 2 raised to the power 5x divided by 2 raised to the power x is equal to 5 root 2 raised to the power 10, or the 5th root of 2 raised to the power 10. Okay, remember law of indices. When they have the same base, division means subtracting the relative powers. So I need to subtract the powers of 2 raised to the power 5x and 2 raised to the power x. So that'll be 2 raised to the power 5x, and power of 2 raised to the power x is x. So that'll be 2 raised to the power 5x minus x is equal to 5 root 2 raised to the power 10. Remember in indices, when we deal with the root of a particular number, it's safe na say that base raised to power 1 over that particular root. So when we're dealing with the fifth root of 2 raised to power 10, you can also say 2 raised to power 10 raised to power 1 over 5. And when we have something like this, we can multiply both bases together as another law of indices. So that will be 2 raised to power 10 times 1 over 5. This will be 5, 2. So that will be 2 raised to power 2. So I'm going to use it in the equation. So that will be 2 raised to power 5x minus x is equals to 2 raised to power 2. 2 raised to power 4x is equals to 2 raised to power 2. You can cancel out the bases. So that will be 4x is equals to 2. Divide both sides by 4. And we have x is equal to 1 over 2. So the correct answer to the question is C. So the next question is 1 plus 3 the cube root of x minus 3 is equal to 4. So let's write down that question. So what are we going to do? First of all, we're going to collect like terms. This will be the cube root of x minus 3 is equal to 4 minus 1. Cube root of x minus 3 will be equal to 3. So I'm going to do the cube of both sides so we can cancel this cube root here. So that will be x minus 3 is equal to 3 raised to power 3, which is saying 3 multiplied by itself 3 times. That will give us 27. So x is equal to 27 plus 3. As x is equal to 30. So the correct answer to this question is 30. So I'm going to move on to the next question. So number 5. We're going to express 1 over 3 for 413 base 7 in base 5. So this will be number 5. So let's convert 413 base 7 first to base 10. So that will be 4 times 7 raised to power 2 plus 1 times 7 raised to power 1 plus 3 times 7 raised to power 0. So 4 times 7 raised to power 2 is 7 multiplied by 7. That gives us 49 plus 1 times 7 raised to power 1 will give us 7 plus 3 times 7 raised to power 0 is 1. Any number raised to power 0 will always give us 1. So 4 times 49 is 196 plus 7 plus 3. So that gives us 206. So I'm going to convert the number in base 10 to base 5. So the remainder is what I'm going to use. So 5 into 206 is 41, remainder 1. 5 plus 1 is 8, remainder 1. 5 in 8 is 1, remainder 3. 5 in 1 is 0, remainder 1. And that's, I need to now bring it up. So our final answer is 1311. So that's going to be B. Let's move on to our next question. That's number 6. Log 3x plus log 3x minus x is equal to 2. So remember that in the law of logarithm, when we see addition, we multiply the both numbers that we are finding the base for. So this will be log 3x bracket x minus 8 multiplication is equal to 2. Remember that log is based on that number. What will the base raised to power? The base raised to power what will give us this number. And we know that log 39 is equal to 2 because 3 raised to power 2 give us 9 based on logarithm laws. So we are going to equate this 2 to logarithm form. So this will be log 3. So I'm going to multiply its x by what is in the bracket. That's x squared. X multiplied by 8 is minus 8x is equal to, this will now be log 3, 9. So this is still in brackets. So this log 3 will cancel this log 3 here. Equating both sides. X squared minus 8x is equal to 9. x squared minus a squared. Bring this 9 here to make this a quadratic equation. So I need to do the factorization method. There are many other methods you can use to solve this equation, but I'm going to use factorization. So this will be minus 8x. So I need to look at minus 8. So I need to find two numbers that when they multiply, they'll give us minus 9. And when they add, they'll give us minus 8. So as you can see, those two numbers that we have is, okay, sorry. Those two numbers that we have, is minus 1 and plus 9, because we know that minus 1 times 9 is minus 9, and minus 1 plus 9, okay, sorry, that will be plus 1 and minus 9. Because you know that minus 9 times 1 is minus 9. Minus 9 plus 1 is minus 8. So that will be x squared. We are going to put x in both of these. So that will be x squared plus x minus 9x minus 9 is equal to 0. Factorizing x squared, x here will give us x plus 1 minus 9, bringing out to remain x here. Minus 9 divided by minus 9 will give us plus 1. So we have similar factors here. So this will be x minus 9 x plus 1 is equal to 0. Apparently the options are only giving positive numbers, so I need to deal with the answer that gives us a positive number. If you equate x minus 9 to 0, this will be x is equal to 9. If you equate x plus 1 to 0, it will be x is equal to minus 1. So the answer I'm looking for is x is equal to 9. So the correct answer to this question is D. Again, let's move on to the next question. That's number 7.
Wait a minute. Have you heard about the majestic table? It was designed and recommended by Her Majesty himself. Here it is. The amazing thing about the majestic periodic table is that it provides a clear and colorful classification of elements, from P block metals to metalloids to liquid metals. It also shows the boiling and melting points of all the elements. It also has the unique feeling of electrons in the shells of each element.
Enhance the easy learning and teaching of chemistry in schools, in universities, secondary schools, in research institutes. So this majestic periodic table, demand and special demand, as you can see that space there highlighted, that is where you can include the name of your school, or if you are dedicating it to anybody, you can write there, because you can print it to any size you like. In a majestic size, the resolution will never be affected. So it took me about 3 months to design and provide these informations, but thank God the table is here. What made me to design this is that I discovered that these tables I see in the internet, the one I see in the market, they are not as informative as I want. And then some of them are not updated. Some still retain the fact that we have, there are like, some still see promentum as not being radioactive. Some might see them as artificial element, but it is still is a naturally occurring element, of course. So there are some modifications that this table has been made to include, and that makes it majestic.
Now Manu is 4 times as old as his son. Let's assume that Manu's son age is x. That's Adu. His age is x. And Manu, this is 4 times as old, that's his age will be 4x. So 7 years ago, as Adu's age 7 years ago is x minus 7, while that of this Adu's age 7 years ago, while Manu's age 7 years ago was 4x minus 7 due to backing, that's 7 years ago. So they said the sum of their ages 7 years ago is 76 years. So when we look at sum, we're looking at addition. So adding both of them give us 76. So what are you going to do? I'm going to collect like terms. So this will be x plus 4x minus 7 is equal to 76. 5x minus 7 will give us minus 14. It's equal to 76. 5x is equal to 76 plus 14. 5x is equal to 90. Divide by 5, divide by 5. Our x is equal to 18 years. They said how old is Aldo? And Aldo's age was given, as we saw from the beginning, is x. So our correct answer to this question is C. That's 18 years. So I need to move on to the next question. That's number 8. Number 8 says factorize completely x squared minus y plus z squared. So in this question, we're going to first expand this y plus z squared. So this will give us y plus z, another y plus z again. So this will be x squared minus everything in bracket. That will be y times y is y squared, y times z is yz, plus z times y is yz, z times z is z squared. So this will be x squared minus y squared plus, let's leave it in expanded form because we want to factorize, plus z squared. So this minus will multiply everything in brackets. So this will be x squared minus y squared minus yz minus yz minus z squared. So we're now going to find the way to factorize x. What I need to do in this question is that since x is clearly not multiplying anything here, I need to multiply x by y and z and give it an equation and write another number that will add to it to give us 0. So what are we going to do? I need to do x multiplied by y. This will give us xy. I need to add xy here, but as we're adding xy, we're also adding minus xy so that everything will give us 0 and it will give us the same thing. We're also going to multiply this x by z. So this will be xz. I'm also going to add minus xz here. So I need to add it inside this equation here. So this will be x squared minus xy plus xy minus xz plus xz minus y squared minus yz minus yz minus z squared. So I need to collect the like terms here. Anyone that has x will go to one side. Those that have y, y's will go to one side and z will come to one side. So that will be x squared minus xy minus xz plus, okay, this is minus y squared. So this will be minus y squared. This will be minus y squared plus xy minus yz minus z squared plus, okay, this plus xz minus z squared. This is a mistake. Plus xy, and this will be minus yz. Same thing here. This give us plus xz minus yz. So let's continue. So I need to factorize everything here. X is similar here, so this will be x bracket. X in x will give us x minus x in minus x will give us minus y. X in minus x will give us minus z. Then I need to factorize here too. So this will be minus, so this is plus y bracket. Y in here is y minus y. Y in plus xy is plus x. Y in minus yz is minus z. So I need to do the same thing here. This will give us plus z. Z in z squared is minus z z in xz is plus x, z in minus y is minus y. So you can see that here, okay, let us arrange this in properties. So this will be x bracket x minus y minus z plus y bracket x minus y minus z, because see the same thing here, plus z bracket x minus y minus z. So you can see the similarity here. So we're going to factorize everything. So we're going to pick out these three here. So that will be x plus y plus z bracket x minus y minus z. So this could be our final answer. So the answer that corresponds with this is B. So the correct answer to this question is B. So let's move on to the next question. So the next question is, that's number 9. Find the roots of the equation 3m squared minus 2m minus 65 is equal to 0. So for us to find the roots of the equation, we're going to actually solve the quadratic equation. So in this, I would like to use all-might formula or general formula, that's quadratic formula. That will be minus b plus or minus root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. So in this question, 3m squared minus 2m minus 65, can see that these are a, these are b, these are c in terms of arrangement of their letter placements. So our x will be equal to, substituting, that will be minus 2, forget about the letters, we're not going to look at the coefficients, plus or minus root of minus 2 square minus 4 multiplied by minus 65 and plus 3, and everything divided by 2 multiplied by our a is 3. So this will be equal to minus 2 is plus 2 plus or minus root of minus 2 squared is 4 minus 4 times minus 65 times 3. Let's solve that. That's 718. Yeah, minus times minus will give us plus. So that's 780 divided by 6. So this will be equal to 2 plus or minus root of 784 divided by 6. So the root of 784, let's solve that. So that's the square root of 784, that's 28. So this will be 2 plus or minus 28 divided by 6. So I'm going to start with the first one. That's either we have 2 plus 28 divided by 6 or 2 minus 28 divided by 6. 2 plus 28 is 30 divided by 6, or 2 minus 28 will give us minus 26 divided by 6. So divide this will be 5, or minus 26 divided by 6 will give us minus 1 point. Now minus 4.33, sorry. Minus 4.33. But here they gave it in fractions, so let us erase this. So let us reduce the lowest term, that's 13 over 3. So this will give us minus 13 over 3. So the final answer to this question is minus 13 over 3 and 5. That will give us C. So let's move on to the next question. Number 10. M varies jointly as the square of n and the square root of q. If m is equal to 24 and when n is equal to 2 and q is equal to 4, find m when n is equal to 5 and q is equal to 9. So given all these values, we're meant to make an equation for it. So this will give us m is equal to, let's replace this sign with the constant of proportionality. So this will be equal to kn square root q. So I need to put in all the values that we given in the first part of the question to find our k for the equation. So this will be 24 is equal to k times our n is 2 square root 4. That's our q. So that's 24 is equal to k times 4 times 2. Square root of 4 is 2. 2 square is 2 times 2. That's 4. So that will be 24 is equal to 8k. 4 times 2 is our 8. So dividing both sides by each other, we can say 3 is equal to k, or more preferably, k is equal to 3. So the correct answer, assuming the process of solving, that's m is equal to 3n square root q. So I need to solve the equation now. We have to find m when n is given as 5. So that will be 3 multiplied by replacing the values of n again as 5 and q was 9 this time. So this will be 3 multiplied by this 5 times 5. That's 25 multiplied by 3. So this is 9 times 25. 9 times 25 will give us 225. So the correct answer to this question is D. Let's just show this here. So the next question is the ratio of m to n is 2 1 over 3. Okay, let me just erase this. The ratio of m to n is 2 1 over 3 and 1 1 over 5. N to q is 1 1 over 2 and 1 1 over 3. Find q to m. So I need to establish an equation that will link both of these together so I can find q to m. So we can say q, let's change all of this to fraction. We can say q over m is equal to q over n times m over n. Remember that m to n is the same thing as saying m over n, and n to q is the same thing as saying q over n. So if we establish this relationship, we can say, let's convert this first ratio to fraction. We already have our first ratio as m to n, so as m over n is equal to 2 1 over 3 plus divided by, okay, so this is not m over n, this is n over m, such that this m will be at the bottom. So I need to actually flip this together. But first of all, let's just write it as this first. So flipping this together, that's our n over m will now be 1 1 over 5 divided by 2 1 over 3. Remember, this is our question number 11. So this will be, let's change this to fraction form. So that's 5 times 1, that's 6. Sorry, 5 times 1, 5 plus 1, 6 over 5 is equal to, divided by 3 times 2, 6, 6 plus 1, 7 over 3. So this will be 6 over 5. Then flipping this fraction, that will be times 3 over 7. So this will be 18 over 35. So this is our n over m. So we're going to find our q over n. So we're going to first express our n over q as 1 whole number 1 over 2 divided by 1 whole number 1 over 3. Let me just make space here. So this will be n, so therefore this will be n over q is equals to 1 over 1 over 2 divided by 1 whole number 1 over 3. So I need to flip it. That's q over n is equals to 1 whole number 1 over 3 divided by 1 whole number 1 over 2. But I'm going to change this to fraction form. This will be 3 times 1 3 plus 1 4 over 3 is equal to 2 times 1 2 plus 1 3 over 2. So this will be multiplying this thing. Finding the inverse of 3 over 2 is 2 over 3. So this will be 8 over 9. So I need to multiply both of them together. That's 18 over 35 multiplied by 8 over 9. Taking that, this is q over n times n over m. And our q over n is obviously 8 over 9. And over m is 18 over 35. So I need to divide this. Here it will give us 2. So this will give us 16. 2 times 8, that's 16 over 35. So therefore the ratio is 16/35. That's the ratio of Q to M. Whenever I see this kind of question, first thing that should come to your mind is fraction. That's as a very easy hint for solving questions on ratio. Don't ever run away from the question. So the next one should be 1/3 the sum of two numbers is twice their difference. So let's take that the two numbers are x and y. Okay, let's mark it here. That's 16 to 35. That's our correct answer was A. So the two numbers are x and y. So taking that their sum is x plus y, they said 1/3 their sum. That's 1/3 of their sum is giving us 12. So let's bring out this equation. That's x or y plus y divided by 3, multiplying everything together here is equal to 12. Cross multiplying, x plus y is equal to 36. Let's call this our equation 1. So I'm going to continue this question. That's twice the difference is 12. Find the numbers. So remember, the difference is subtraction. So let's say that the subtraction was x minus y. So twice their difference is 12. So that's 2 bracket x minus y is equal to 12. 2x minus 2y is equal to 12. Plus 2 multiplied by x, 2 multiply everything inside bracket. So since 2 can divide this whole equation, let's divide 2 by it. So dividing the whole equation by 2. This gives us x minus y is equal to 12 divided by 2 gives us 6. So let's go square this equation 2. So this will give us a simultaneous equation. So let's subtract both equations together. Okay, let me indicate it. Subtracting equation 2 from 1. This will be x plus y is equal to 36 minus x minus y is equal to 6. So this will be 2y is equal to 30 divided by 2 divided by 2. So our y is equal to 15. So this is our final answer for our y. So let's find our x. So trace using the equation. Okay. Let's just solve it in this small side. So remember that our x, let's use the first equation, let's use the second equation to get our x. So that's x minus 15 is equal to 6. X is equal to 6 plus 15 and x is equal to 21. So the two numbers are 15 and 21. This is our final answer. So that's A. So let's move on to the next question. So the next question, that's question number 13. Find the quadratic equation whose roots are 2/3 and 3/4. So remember that the formula for quadratic equation is x squared minus 5 plus b, that's the two roots, x plus 5b. That's the two roots multiplied by each other without any coefficients. So let's put it here. So this will be x squared minus, this is adding both of them together. That will be 2/3 minus 3/4. Plus and minus, plus minus 3/4 will give us minus 3/4. If I wonder why we not put plus 3/4 here, you understand, like plus minus 3/4, plus and minus give us minus. Plus, this is 2/3 times minus 3/4. So this s squared minus this, to find the LCM, this 12, 3 in 12 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, minus 4 in 12 is 3, 3 times 3 9, plus multiplying both sides, this 3 can cancel this 3 here, this 2 here 1, this 2 in 4 is 2, remaining minus 1/2 here. So this x squared minus 1/12 plus minus 1/2 So let's multiply by brackets. Minus and minus give us plus. So this plus 1/12. Plus and minus 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 1/2. So I'm going to multiply everything by the LCM. The LCM of everything here is 12. So multiplying 12 by everything. Multiplying 12 by the whole equation. So this would be 12x squared plus 12 brackets 1/12 minus 1/2 multiplied by 12. So this will be 12x squared. This will cancel this out, so this will remain 1. Then 2 here give us 6, so this will be plus 1 minus 6. Sorry, this is meant to carry the x sign. So this will give us plus x minus 6. So this is our final answer. But it seems we're giving the letters in y, so this will can just equally change to 12y squared plus y minus 6. So the correct answer to this question is C. I'm going to mark it here. So let's move on to the next question. So the next question is that's question number 14. Let me erase here first. It says make x the subject of the formula of the relation y is equal to ax cubed plus minus b divided by 3z. What do we do first? Cross multiply. So this is 3yz is equal to 8ax cubed minus b. Carry b to the other side. That's 3yz plus b is equal to ax cubed. Ax cubed is equal to 3yz plus b. So we're going to divide both sides by a. So this is x cubed is equal to 3yz plus b over a. So I need to find the cube root of both sides, so we can cancel this cube. So the final answer to this question is x is equal to the cube root of 3yz plus b, everything divided by a. So the correct answer to this question is B. So the next question is number 15. The price of a shoe was decreased by 22%. If the new price was $27.30, what was the original price? So when we look at percentage decrease and increase, a good way of solving this question fast is based on the fact that it was decreased. The percentage, we subtract the percentage from 100. If it was increased, we add it to 100. So this will be 100 minus 22. This will give us 78%. So you know that 78% of the original price. Let's call the original price X. Let's write here. Let the original be X. So this will be 78 over 100 times X is equal to 27.30. So 78 multiply the up, that's 78x. 100 multiplied by 1 will give us 100, give us 27.30. Cross multiplying both of them, that's 78x is equal to 27.30 multiplied by 100 is 2730. So dividing both sides by 78. So let's go to our calculator. 2730 divided by 78. That's 35. That's $35.00. So the correct answer to this question is D. So let's move on to the next question. It said the radius and height of a solid cylinder are 8 cm and 14 cm respectively. So I'm going to draw that cylinder. So the radius of the cylinder is 8 cm. while the height of the cylinder is 14 centimeters. So first to find total surface area. Since it's a solid cylinder, we know that the cylinder is closed at both ends, and the formula for total surface area for a cylinder closed at both ends is that's 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r square. So we're going to solve this equation. I'm going to replace the values. So this will be 2 multiplied by, say, take pi as 22/7, multiply our radius as 8, and by our height as 14, plus 2 multiplied by our pi as 22/7, multiplied by our radius as 8 square. So this will be 2 times 8, 16, multiplied by 14. So this gives us 224. (4928) plus this 2 times 22 times 64/7. So this gives us 4928/7 plus, let's do 2 times 22 times 64. That's 2816/7. So I need to add both sides together. So this will be 4928 plus 2816. This is 7744. Over 7. So we're going to divide that by 7. That's 1106.29 centimeter square. So the correct answer to the question is C. So let's move on to the next question. So the next question is, so this circle geometry, this in the diagram, O is center of the circle NST, NT is equal to ST. As you can see, is indicated in question. That's our NT equals to our ST, and NCS is equal to 36. Find the measure of the angle marked T. So in this question, I need to look at one of the rules of circle geometry, or the theorems of circle geometry. That is, whenever we have a tangent, that's whenever we have a tangent of a circle, that's the angle that that tangent makes with the circle is equal to the angle when the two lines meet. So this angle here, theta, this angle here, theta, is equal to this angle here. So I need to apply it in this question, where we have this particular circle here with all this mark side as VS. So these two sides meet at C. This 36 degrees. These two are equal. So this angle here will be equal to this angle here. I think the arrangement based on that law. So therefore at t equals 36 degrees. So the correct answer to this question is A. So let's move on to the next question. So an empty cylindrical tank is 140 cm in diameter. If 200 liters of water is poured into the tank, calculate correct to 2 nearest centimeter the height of water in the tank. So take pi is equals to 22/7. So we know that area of a cylinder is pi r square h. So given that our area was given as 200 liters and 1 liter will give us 1000 centimeter cube. So 200 liters will give us 200 times 1000, that's 20,000 centimeter cube. 200,000 centimeter cube. So we are going to replace the values here. So that's 200,000. Let us find the height. It's equal to pi is 22/7 according to the question. Always look at what they say to take pi as. Multiplied by the radius. The radius was not given. That was the diameter. And radius is equal to diameter divided by 2. So our radius is 140 divided by 2. That's 17. So let us clean this. This gives us 70. So times another 70 again, multiplied by the height according to the formula. So 200,000 is equal to this 7 is 70 is 10. So that's 22 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 70 times h. So 22 times 10 times 70. So that will give us 15,400. So 200,000 is equal to 15,400 h. So I need to divide both sides by 15,400. So 200,000 divided by 15,400 will give us our final answer. So that's 12.99 centimeter. Okay, let us erase this off. So that's 12.99 centimeter. Approximately, we can say 13 centimeter. So the correct answer to this question is C. So let's move on to question number 24. Number 24. Miss Kema stands at a distance 110 meters away from a building of vertical height of 110 meters away from a building of vertical height (58 meters). So this building is 58 meters in height. Let's assume this is Miss Kema. And said if Keba is 22 meters tall, find the angle of elevation from top of a building to her eye. So assuming her eye is at the head level, not exactly, but according to what the question is giving us. So let us assume from here to here is 2 meters. Notice it's like a triangle, so here is also 110 meters. And let's subtract 2 meters from the total distance of building 58. That will give us 56 meters. So it said find the angle of elevation. So this is the angle that they are so to find. Remember, the pressure angle will be alternately opposite and equal, which will be here. So I'm going to do SOHCAHTOA. So this is opposite to the angle and adjacent. So the one that has opposite and adjacent is tan. So tan of the angle will give us opposite, that's 56 over the adjacent 110. So tan of the angle give us 56 divided by 110. That'll give us, let's solve that. So that'll give us 0.5090 or 0.5091 approximately. So we're going to find theta. Therefore, theta will be equal to the tan inverse of 0.5091. So our theta is equal to so that's 26.98 degrees. 26.98 degrees. This is approximately equal to 27 degrees. Don't accidentally approximate and say it's 26. So the correct answer to this question is B, 27. So the next question is number 25. Find the mean deviation of the set of numbers. Find mean deviation of the set of numbers 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. So to find the mean deviation, we first have to find the mean. So I need to add everything together. That's 14 plus 15 plus 16 plus 17 plus 18 plus 19. Divided by the number of numbers here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So adding everything together, let's just do the addition. So that'll give us 99. So that's 99 divided by 6. Let's quickly do that. That's 16.5. So I mean it's 16.5. This is the symbol for mean. Then we're going to find mean deviation. Let's draw a table. This are x and our x minus x, positive subtraction. So this is 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. And we already know that our n is equal to 6. So I need to use the formula mean deviation, that's md is equal to x sigma x minus x divided by n. We already know our n is 6. So let's find out sigma x minus x. Remember, sigma is a symbol meaning sum. So we need to start. 14 minus 16.5 will give us minus 2.5. 15 minus 6.5, 16.5 will give us minus 1.5. So let's forget about that subtraction, negative subtraction. We're going to leave it at 2.5. 16 minus 16.5 is 0.5. Positive is meant to be negative, but why is positive subtraction, not normal subtraction? So 17 minus 16.5 is 0.5. 18 minus 16.5 is 1.5. 19 minus 16.5 is 2.5. So I need to add everything together. So that's 2.5 plus 1.5 plus 0.5 plus 0.5 plus 1 plus 1.5 plus 2.5. So that'll give us 9. So our total value is 9. So dividing 9 by the number of values, that's 6, it gives us 1.5. Let's just confirm. So that's 1.5. So the correct answer to that question is B. So let's move on to the next question, that's number 26. The interior angle of a regular polygon is 6 times the exterior angle. Find the number of sides of the polygon. So the interior angle is 6 times its exterior angle. So that's for each interior angle of this regular polygon is 6 times its exterior angle. Remember, the formula for exterior angle is 360 degrees divided by the number of sides for any polygon. So this is the formula for each exterior angle. And the formula for interior angle, that sum of interior angles, is n minus 2 multiplied by 180 degrees. So when for each interior angle, that's n minus 2 each times 180 divided by the number of sides. So they said that the interior angle is 6 times the exterior. So we know that 6 multiplied by the 360 divided by n give us n minus 2 times 180 divided by n. So this is 6 times 360. So let's just 6 times 360. That's 2160 divided by n is equal to 180n minus 360 divided by n. So I don't think there's any cross multiply. This divided by can just go. So that's 2160 is equal to 180n minus 360. So correct like terms, 2160 plus 360 is equal to 180n. So 2160 plus 360, let's search that, is 2520. 2520 is equal to 180n. So let's divide that. So our n is equal to 14. So the shape has 14 sides. As you can see, it's in the option. That's option B. Let's just mark it here. So the next question, that's number 27. The length of a diagonal of a square is 12 centimeter. So no, all sides of the square are equal. Let me draw it properly. Okay, so the length of the diagonal of the square is 12 centimeter. So to find the area of the square, we have to find the length of the sides. So how we can find the length of the sides? We can say that this is a right angled triangle. You can see that this is a right angled triangle. So this 12 centimeter is the hypotenuse. So the opposite and adjacent are the same. So let's equate both of them to x. So let's use Pythagoras theorem. That's Pythagoras theorem. That's c square is equal to a square plus b square. C square is the hypotenuse. A square and b square are the adjacent and opposite. So 12 square will be equal to x square plus x square, since they are the same. 12 square is equal to 2x square divided by 2. Okay. Before we divide, know that 12 square is 12 times 12. That's 144. So dividing by 2, that's x square is equal to 72. So x is equal to the square root of 72. So when we are calculating the area of the square, this is the length of the sides. So when we are calculating the area of the square is L square. So to calculate it, we already know that this is our L. So the area of the square will be the square of the root of 72. So the square will cancel the square root. So this will give us 72 centimeter square. So the correct answer to this question is C. So let's move on to number 28. Number 28 says, consider the statement CI is from Foya and Foya is in Lofa. Write in symbolic form the statement, if CI is from Lofa, then Foya is in Lofa. So this is a logic statement, and when we have if then we are dealing with this statement. If we have if and only if, we are dealing with the two statements like this. Then this is negation, that's not that particular thing. Like you said Ali plays football, if you put this negation, Ali does not play football, or it is false that Ali plays football. So based on this statement, if Sia is from Foya is P, then Foya is in Lofa, that's Q. So this will be the thermal statement P to Q. So the correct answer to this question is C. Don't mind what was marked here. So that's the correct answer for number 28. So let's move on to number 29. Number 29 deals with measurement. So we're going to measure the sides from here to here. We're going to measure the sides from 1 minus 3 to 6 2, and that of 6 2 to 0 4 to know if it gives us equivalent or isosceles. I'm also going to do 0 4 to 1 minus 3. So let's start. Let's measure the both sides. Remember, distance between two sides in circle geometry is, let's assume this is our x1, our x2, y2, x2, x1, x2, x. Okay, sorry, this is a small mistake. This x1, y1. This x1, y1, x2, y2, x1, y1, x2, y2, x1, y1, x2, y2. Remember the formula for distance between both sides: square root of x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. So let's do for the first one. The first one is equal to, distance is equal to the root of, our x2 is 6 minus 1 square plus our y2 is 2 minus 3 square. So this will be the root of 5 square plus 2 minus 3 is 2 plus 3, that's 5 square. So this will be 25 plus 25, that's root of 50. Root of 50 units, that's what we use in graph terms when we are referring to measurements. So let's do the second one. D is equal to the root of, that's 0 minus 6 square plus 4 minus 2 square. So this will be the root of minus 6 square plus 2 square. So this is root of 36 plus 4. So this is root of 40 units. So let's do the next part. That's number 3. Number 3 is D is equal to the root of, that's x2, that's 1 minus 0 square plus minus 3 minus 0 square. So that's D is equal to the root of 1 square plus minus 3 square. So that's D is equal to 1 plus 9, because minus 3 square is 9. So this will give us the root of 10 units. So the correct answer to this question is, okay, our y2 is minus 3, our y1 is minus 4, sorry. Our y2 is minus 3, our y1 is 4. So this is minus 3 minus 4. So this will be 1 plus minus 3 minus 4 is minus 7. So minus 7 squared is 49. So this will give us 15 units. So we can see that two sides are equal. That's root 15, root 40, root 50. And remember, a triangle with only two sides are equal is known as an isosceles triangle. So the correct answer to this question is A. So let's look at number 13. Number 13, this is a question on circle geometry. So let's draw out the question. So we have S here. First of all, let's make an outline of it. So let's assume that this is our center O. This is X degrees. This is N, this is M, this is R, and this is S. So let's assume that here is 5x minus 20 degrees. And they told us to find 2x. MNR, as you can see, is x degrees, while that of SRN is 5x minus 20 degrees. Okay, so find the value of 2x. So we know that this is an angle on a straight line. That's SR and M here. Remember that this is angle on a straight line, so it's equal to 180 degrees. So we're going to add both of them together. We're going to find theta in terms of x. That's 5s plus 20 plus theta is equal to 180 degrees. Theta is equal to 180 minus 5x minus 20. Theta is equal to 180 minus 20 is 160 minus 5x. So the value of our theta is 160 minus 5x. So I need to use to find this equation. Remember that this is angle in a semicircle. An angle in a semicircle is 180 because it's about the diameter. I remember that when it starts from the diameter to the end of the circle, that's the half of the circle, that's semicircle. So 160 minus 5x, this is 90 degrees. So 160 minus, I need to add everything to give 180, so I can find our x. 160 minus 5x plus x plus 90 is equal to 180 degrees. 160 plus 90 is 250. Collecting the like terms, minus 5x plus 4x plus x is minus 4x is equal to 180 degrees. 250, collecting like terms, 250 minus 180 is equal to 4x. 4x is equal to 70. So we're going to divide both sides by 4 to find the final answer. So that will be 70 divided by 4. That's 17.5. So it says find 2x. So our 2x will be 17.5 multiplied by 2. That's 35 degrees. So the correct answer to this question is B. This is the last question for this section. We'll continue later. Thanks for watching and continue to share our videos.
You have to join the Easy World. My name is Victor Modia, a student in Italy. Anywhere you are, you can join us. Join the Easy World. Be a subscriber. Bye. Thank me later. Whenever you reach